What's up, guys? So this week's video is about stepping through vulnerability, not only in the gym but in life, in order to succeed. And again, these are things that I have personally gone through. So these are my experience. This is stuff that I am recommending based on my experiences, and I'm sure some of them will be the same for you. And you may have your own, but the whole basis of it is that um, you know every situation that's worth anything, you're gonna have a feeling of vulnerability, and you can either not do it and sit on your butt doing nothing, sit on your ass, fucking, and just be the same, or you can face it. Vulnerability is almost kind of feels like fear, and you kind of start to shy away from it. Maybe you get shy. You're scared of what people are going to think, what people are going to say. How do you look? Um, we get so consumed with the ideas of other people and how they think about us that we don't put ourselves out there and follow the certain things that we love to do. Um, so or we ignore it. You know, you start to think about something, and then you feel kind of, well, I don't know if I want to do that. The neighbor might, if I tell somebody this idea, they might look at me and feel, think I'm crazy, or they're gonna think, oh, he won't do it or she won't do it. And the thing is that all the best things that I've gotten in my life made me feel vulnerable, and they came from me stepping through that fear and facing that fear. One of the things I learned was, you know, um, I trained myself to notice when I felt vulnerable. You know, and every time I feel vulnerable, I really, as soon as I get that feeling, if I have a thought or an idea, if I'm thinking about doing something, and your body knows, like, when you shouldn't do something, it's different than being vulnerable. Okay. So if you're honest with yourself, you'll feel that vulnerability. Now, I've trained myself that as soon as I feel that, I give it a serious thought that I should probably do it, if not just do it. If it comes down to something that, just like, like getting on stage for the first time, I was scared out of my fucking mind. I almost passed out. I had to turn myself away. I'm not used to people looking at me and all this stuff, and I'm thinking of what are they all gonna say? Oh, this guy shouldn't be up there, and yada yada. All these different thoughts. But you know what? It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And part of that was because I felt so good about facing that inner fear and that inner vulnerableness, and I did it, and I accomplished it, and it didn't matter what anybody else said, because I fucking did it. So try to teach yourself, like, okay, if you're thinking about doing something and your mind starts telling you, oh, what if they this, or what if they that, or you're gonna look, just do it. Okay, turn off all that negative shit and remember why you're doing it, and then just do it. And I promise you, you're gonna feel better when you do. um, you know don't let yourself create excuses based on that feeling of vulnerability, because like I said earlier, you're never going to achieve anything. You might get through life, you might have some good moments, and you might, oh, you're going to play it safe and yada yada yada, and it's going to be boring. And then when it comes down to your time, and you're laying in the, assuming, and hopefully God, hopefully you make it to that point where you get to think about your life before you go, and it doesn't just get taken from you. And you're going to be sitting there and you're going to think back to all the things you wish you would have done. And most of those things you didn't do were because you felt vulnerable. Okay. I don't want to be like that. I've spent a lot of my life like that, and I don't want to be like that. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I do it all the time. I try, though. And a lot of great things have happened to me in the past 4 years that I've really been focused on getting myself better. And it's all come from facing that shy, scared, vulnerable feeling. You know, everyone feels vulnerable in situations. Even the most successful people in the world, if you think that they don't feel vulnerable, I say the most popular person in the world, whether you like him, whether you're over him, or you think it's, or The Rock, okay? He feels vulnerable. And you're not going to tell me otherwise. I would tell you straight to your face that you're a liar, and I'll tell him if he says it that he's a fucking liar. Because I guarantee there's a spot inside of him that thinks, and he's probably trained himself to deal with it way better than most, you know, or any other celebrity. Take someone that you look up to, any celebrity you may look up to. They feel vulnerable when they got to step out in front of those cameras. You know, they probably feel a lot more anxiety and stuff than any of us. But they're where they're at because they stepped through that. They don't let that stop them from being successful and achieving things and doing what they want to do. And don't let that happen. You know, everybody feels vulnerability. So really try to think of it. Try to think of these things. Maybe try to notice these things in your life over the next little bit. You know, let me know what things, you know, maybe you feel vulnerable about. What have you held yourself back from? What have you stepped through, and what have you achieved? You know, I would love it if somebody would comment and let me know. I love hearing about this stuff. Your life will be better. That I 100% guarantee. If you start facing your fears and your vulnerability, you will have way more opportunities. Turn off all that negative shit. Turn on the positive. And what's the worst that can happen? Okay? You try something and it doesn't work. So fucking what? At least you tried. At least you faced that fear, that vulnerability, and you tried. That alone is going to make you feel some sort of worth and feel better. So, I don't know. Give it a try. I hope this helps. I hope you do it. I hope you get everything you want in your life. You know, when I first started losing weight, and I'll just bring this up before I go real quick. I was 360 pounds. I was supposed to get my knees replaced. I was, 39? 39. I had my kid. Best thing that ever happened in my life. I thought my life was over. I was this big, giant, fat, you know, nothing wrong with being fat if you're happy. There's nothing wrong with it. I wasn't. And I spent my whole life letting other people determine my outcomes and my day-to-day routines and everything. And I looked back and I was not happy with my life. I was losing friends to addictions, to alcohol. My son, I wasn't being a good father. I was wasting my life because I was so worried about what other people thought that I isolated. And I stopped myself from even trying to put myself out there and do stuff. But in doing that, I just made myself the person I didn't want to be. When I started finally just saying, screw it, you know what? People don't really care that much. Yeah, people might say stuff, but who cares? And I've slowly gotten to a point now where I really don't. I mean, I care what people think, you know. I want people to think I'm a good person, and I do things that I go after my my dreams and whatnot, but ultimately it's not a big part. Like, it used to control my life, and now it's not. The only reason I care is because I want to help other people. I want other people. That's the best part of this. It's when you face your vulnerabilities and you start being successful and you start getting all these things that happen for you, that's great. But then it trickles out. And the most rewarding part is the help that it gives everybody else. Everybody else around you and other people that you don't even know, by doing, posting videos or checking in on Instagram or just doing it. People see it, they feel it, it comes off of you. And that's the most rewarding part. So do yourself a favor. Okay? Do yourself a favor, do your loved ones a favor. Start facing those things, your fears and your vulnerabilities, and live a happy, regretful life. Unregretful. Don't live with regret. Anything you might be regretful for, face that shit and do it. Just do it. The worst that can happen is it doesn't happen, and you just try something else. But you will feel better because at least you tried. So, anyway, hopefully that helps. I'll see what I got for you next week. Hopefully you guys like this, and it's helping somebody, because, we all deserve to be happy. There's no reason. Our time here is short. It's not guaranteed, so make the best of it. Right on.